Hey guys, Lucas from iExplore here, and I have Axel, as always, behind the camera, who's going to be chatting with me on our photo walk here in Shinagawa. Okay, I do have a mask. People have asked us about this. We wear them, but during the video, I'm not going to wear it because I want to be able to, have you guys see my face so we can kind of interact a little bit better. This video is also going to be a little different from the last couple of vlogs we did. In addition to the shooting and the urban exploration and the street photography and all that, I want to treat this kind of like a podcast, so we're going to have sort of a discussion topic, okay? And a question that I've gotten many times before over the last few years, and even very recently on the last couple of videos that comes up in the comments, people say, how do you make a living, Lucas? How do you make a living with street photography? It's going to be kind of two birds, one stone in this video, a discussion and shooting, okay? So let's go this way.
I explore.
All right, so this is Shinagawa, and it's kind of a businessy area. A lot of big office towers. The station is very busy. It's like I don't know what number, but it's in the top 10 busiest stations in the city, or probably in the world. It's very busy. A lot of people come through here every day.
The Shinkansen goes through here.
The bullet train comes through here, that's right. But there are a couple little pockets of like old Tokyo. So namely, you can already see this little tiny narrow passage there between the Yoshinoya and the other building.
Right.
There's a whole little network of back alleys back there. So like I said, we're going to try to balance shooting and exploring with a conversation about, in this case, making a living with street photography, or is that even possible? So the short answer, while we're exploring this little alley of can you make a living from street photography, or how I do it, is directly from street photography, I don't. Right? Axel, what do you think about that?
I know very few people who can.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to be honest, I don't know no one who can live entirely only
exactly
on street photography.
So to me, the answer to that question is like, can you make a good living or any living directly from street photography, meaning people will pay you to go out and do street photography? I think basically no. I'm sure there are people out there, people who are maybe like really famous photographers or something, but for the most part, I don't do that. Most of my like street photography related activities are other kinds of photo shoots that are kind of similar to street photography. Like editorial stuff for magazines, or editorial stuff for brands that want that street photo look, but the photos are actually staged, or they're very, how to say, edited in the sense of being selected for that particular campaign. It's not just like, go out and shoot and we'll pay you. It's more controlled than that. Anyway, let's keep going over here. I like the view down there, these open windows. I kind of don't like how the bike is parked over here. It sort of ruins the frame. But I love the window up there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you got lucky there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know if I timed it well, but here we go. Get another chance. Nope, that guy didn't go near the window. So it's kind of going on then. If I'm telling everyone right now that I don't really make a living directly from street photography, then how do I make a living?
Correct.
And that's from street photography related activities, and in this particular case, photography workshops.
Okay.
Right? Mainly Axel and I do photography workshops. That's what iExplore mostly is. But in addition to that, I shoot various kinds of jobs that, like I said, having a strong street photography portfolio really helps. So when clients hire me for their projects, which are usually like I said, corporate, marketing, editorial stuff, they hire me partially based on past projects that I've done, and also just my street photo portfolio. They'll often include those in the briefs and say, we like these photos of yours, can you do something like that, but for our specific thing?
Right. They're looking after a particular style.
They're looking for a style.
Yeah.
So the answer is kind of, at first I was very blunt. I said, no, you can't make a living directly from street photography, or at least I don't see a good way to do that reliably. But it certainly does pay off to be into street photography. You could turn it into a career, but you have to be very crafty with how you monetize things. You can't just, take nice photos and expect people to pay you for that. It's just not that simple. And then this view is particularly nice. I like shooting around here.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, it's very narrow here,
It's
so
super narrow.
we're being kind of in the way. But people are being nice, and we're being nice, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, so what I was saying is that basically you got to be creative. So in our case, we do a lot of workshops. That was how we were making a living until the present global situation put a stop on that business for now. But it'll come back hopefully eventually. And then, like I said, photo shoots with clients that are hiring me on the strength of my street photography portfolio, but not directly for it. And then the last way I would say you could make money from street is, of course, with creating sellable art, which means prints and books, which I'm just getting into, but other photographers do that more, like Siegfried, right? We know Siegfried
Because
sells books and stuff, right?
there must be out there photographers who make a living out of street photography.
Yeah, but they're selling their art. They must be selling their art. What I mean when I say you can't make a living from street photography, I just meant in the sense that I don't think people will often hire you and just say, look, here's just go out on your own, just walk around the city and do street photos, and we'll pay you for that.
Which is basically what we told Charles to do.
That's true. So when you work for iExplore, that is what you can make a living that way. But that's the thing is you're also teaching, right? So you have to teach street photography. So
It's a byproduct.
yeah, so it's not that simple. Here we go, nice moment. Okay. Last time I came here was much later, and I think it was like a Sunday night, just by chance, and it was way more dead. So I'm happy to see how lively it is tonight. This is really cool. Let's go in here, although the alleys are quite noisy with machinery. So,
So what I said
Yes.
earlier is, do you think that people do not value street photography?
right. Well, I think most people, I guess my answer was going to be more nuanced. I think do people value it in the sense that they think it's art and it's important and it's great to do? I think many people do. Many people do. And more people are valuing it because it's getting more and more popular. Which is why I'm getting this question, because I'm sure there's more people who want to really love doing street photography and they're thinking, maybe I could make a living doing this, right? But in terms of do people value it in the sense of like, do they want to pay money for it? Yeah, I think not as much as other kinds of photography. Like even for example, for licensing purposes, sometimes I license my photos for commercial purposes. I don't think I've ever licensed a street photo. Actually, that's not true, once or twice. But more often people will license like an urban landscape scene because that works better as a stock photo, just a beautiful scene of the city or some architectural kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, commercially, street photography is not as powerful, but it can be if you use it in very clever ways, right? And I know that there are some street photographers who've worked a lot on advertising campaigns that they clearly staged, but they shot them in a very street photo style. Nick Turpin comes to mind. He has a lot of work on his portfolio that's like clearly street photography, but made for the campaign. So and that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of stuff you can do, where you will get hired to do street, but it's going to be more controlled than actual street because they need you to produce a certain product in the form of a, ad campaign or whatever it might be, or an editorial or something. All right, but now getting into more technical camera settings. Okay, there's a guy looking like he wanted to go. Getting into more technical camera sort of things. Right now I'm shooting, because there's nobody here, I'm doing again manual 60th of a second f2.8 with auto ISO. So people who have been watching our channel and seeing how I shoot should be familiar with this. This is my slow mode because nothing is moving. Okay, and I'm underexposing right now by 1 stop, but I'm going to go 2 stops because it's a little bit overexposed, especially the white sign up there that says Iburia, I guess, is a little bit blown out. すみません、どうぞ、どうぞ、どうぞ。Okay, I'm still on a 60th. I'm just going to let him be a little bit motion blurred because he was moving away from me, not across the scene. So I didn't mind if he was a little bit blurred. It's not a big deal in this case. And anyway, well now if we were down there, yeah, ooh, yeah, there you go. He's just standing there. But he's a little too far for this lens. He's all the way down there. But anyway, let's go down there because I love that kanji that's written on the wall over there. And as we get closer, I'm going to keep trying, similar shots, trying to find the perfect thing here. In this case, I'm focusing on this closest sign with everything else blurred a little bit. I also want to talk a bit more about composition as I do these things. That was another question we were getting, is how exactly do you compose? And I would say the basic principle of composition that I always follow, and Axel have heard me say this before a million times in the workshops that we do,
Less is better.
More. Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more.
Which of course I didn't come up with this, I stole this, but, and it actually, people apply this concept to all kinds of things, right? Any kind of design or whatever. But basically, simpler is better. So I'm trying to remove stuff that is not necessary in the scene. In this case, like maybe the clutter down here. So I just have the sign, the noren, the curtain, and then the kanji back there, which I guess just says moto? Is that
Moto,
Yeah,
again,
moto.
yeah, depends on how you read it.
As I always often mention, I've definitely mentioned it before, is you're going this way, it pays to sometimes turn around. And actually the view where we just came from looks pretty cool. So before we continue that way, I'm just going to get a couple in this direction. What I like about it is that window in the background with the vertical bars. It's kind of far away. Maybe if we eliminate this actually, and go for a darker shot, less contrast. So my composition, again, talking about less is more and minimalism, I'm only getting it's a vertical shot and I'm getting the left side with the window and the right side with these machines, the meters, gas meters or whatever on the right side. Okay. But here we go, I'm going to try with these guys. Okay, that was pretty cool. What's missing? This same dude has walked by like 4 times. He's just going in circles looking for
Totally
this
lost.
one little bar that's tucked away in the corner here. But I got a nice picture of him. That was good. So at first in this little back alley, you see all these lamps, and they're obviously very eye-catching and bright and colorful. So you kind of gravitate towards shooting them. But they create a lot of contrast with the rest of the scenery. So ultimately, I kind of like my composition here without any lamps. Just this scene here, because the light is much more balanced. And instead of getting the lamps in my shot, I'm just getting their light. So that light up there is coming from this lamp, the light over there. And a little bit from Axel's lamp on the phone, but not really so much. So, yeah, it makes for a better scene, better exposed overall. There's also some kanji right here. It's rana, whatever. I'm going to try to include that in a horizontal composition. Ooh, that's very nice, actually. Wow. Okay. So now we're going to wait a little bit. So I think Axel caught a quick glimpse of what I was just shooting, but this guy came out and he was smoking his what do they call that thing? Wait, no, we're not gonna promote it. We're not promoting smoking.
No.
Smoking's bad for you kids. Don't do it. Well, anyway, this guy was smoking, and I got some really cool shots. Right at that moment, Axel wasn't rolling, but he got a little bit of it. And so I was saying I was gonna wait for a subject, and one appeared, got some cool shots, and we're gonna move on the way we were going. Okay. All right. And like I was saying, I like that kanji back there, which says moto, which means origin, which is cool. And I love the red mailbox here in the foreground. So I'm going to try to combine these elements, see how that looks. Okay. That's pretty neat. Okay. I like that. Let's keep going though. Don't want to. I could wait for somebody, but it's enough waiting for now. You know, last week's Aki, or the 2 weeks ago Aki Habara video, we did a lot of waiting.
A lot.
So I want to move on a little bit more. But actually, here is even better. I don't know if actually you can see it from where you're standing, but there's a window here, and there's some reflection. So this,
nice,
this
yeah.
kanji is like all over the place. There's also some in the window here. Get a little lower. And here, you know, there's nobody, but I'm not on a 60th, I'm on a 125th now, because it's bright enough that I'm getting low enough ISO, about 1,000 on 125th. So I might as well kind of go a little bit faster. I'm still on M, but I chose 125th instead of the usual 60th that I do. And out that way. But again, maybe come over here a little bit, and then shooting this building from this side. And this I've actually done before. So I've shot this angle before. I have some photos of it I've taken a couple months ago, last time I've been here, but I wasn't perfectly happy with them. I didn't get the best maybe moment or the best subject passing through. So I just thought I'd try it again. That is a concept we've touched on before in these videos, is the idea of revisiting places over and over and over again until you get a really, really killer shot. And then finally you can scratch it off the list and say, like, I'm done with this one. It's like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. But once you catch them, you can just go on. You don't have to come back again.
So skill sets for street photography.
Right. So I think, yeah, patience and anticipation specifically for street photography, but for making it into a living, a business, you got to be able to find clients, and you got to think outside the box. Look, I've been shooting in Tokyo for almost 12 years now, and I started photography right around the time I got here, like more seriously. And in the beginning, I really thought, like, yeah, if I just get really good and my skill as a photographer is really good, then, you know, my portfolio is going to be awesome and people will just find me and, like, I'll get all these gigs and it's going to be great. And that did not happen at all.
I found you.
Yeah, I know, but okay, that's true. That's true. But it wasn't for shooting photography, and that's exactly what I'm saying, right?
Correct.
You and I got together and you did find me online through my online portfolio, which you said at the time that you liked, and that caught your attention. But you had a different proposal for me. You said, Lucas, I have these workshops I want to do. I want you to teach photography. And it's a good thing that I was open to this. I was like, yeah, okay, because I could have been close to the idea. I could have said, no, I don't want to teach. Because some of the other guys you hired back then, way back in the beginning, we're not going to name names, but one of them in particular, ultimately after like, what, a month or two, decided, nah, it's not for me. I don't want to teach. I want to go out and continue to be a photographer, like shooting portraits and whatever kind of stuff he was doing, right? Yeah. So, you know, that's the thing, is if you want to be out in the streets doing street photography, you're not necessarily going to get paid to do it. But if you can figure out some other way to do it, then you can do it as kind of a secondary thing. So you're leading a tour, or in our case, doing workshops, teaching photography. And by doing that, I get to shoot street all the time. But that's not what people are actually hiring us for, right? All right. Well, let's give it a few more seconds, and then we'll keep moving on. So we're going to leave this little area, this little network of alleyways over here. Actually, I have no idea what this is called. Like the one in Shinjuku is Omoide Yokocho, and Shibuya has Nonbe Yokocho. I don't know if these have a name. It's just the little alleys near Shinagawa Station. Having said that, we do have something new, Axel, don't we?
I think
we should mention it. We should mention it right now. This is a good time to mention it. Because I created a map for us. Okay, it has over 250 locations of photo spots all around Tokyo, organized by like street photos and cityscape shots and even cherry blossom spots for the spring. And this is on the map. This is one of the spots.
Oh, is it?
On the map. It's
nice.
there, yeah. I forgot what I called it. It's Shinagawa, like dark alleys or back alleys or something. Because again, I don't know the name, but if it even has a name. So yeah, very soon we're going to have memberships on YouTube, and also we do already have a Patreon. And so one of the tiers, the perk is you get access to this map.
Nice.
So I know that's not useful for people not living in Tokyo right now because you can't travel right now. But when you can travel, eventually this will be useful.
And one day you will.
One day people will, and some people are here. I think they could find it useful. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to be live very soon. All right, we're going to keep going this way. There's another thing I wanted to check out tonight. It's a bit of a hike from this part or this area. There's a little harbor, like a little place where they park boats. Because we're already in Tokyo Harbor, Tokyo Bay. But it's just like a little boat inlet thing, because Shinagawa is right by the river, by the bay. So we're gonna go check it out. But it's a bit of a hike. All right, so let's go.
Let's go.